Well, here's some more news on two stories that Sierra Wave Media's Bennett Kessler has been following. The organization Trout says that Senate Bill 1148 will not change the funding of California fish hatcheries and will provide $1 million for capital improvements to hatcheries while also protecting wild trout. Former Mono Senator Dave Cogdill says Senate Bill 1148 will, quote, result in an ever-diminishing experience for anglers while requiring them to pay ever-increasing license fees, end quote. Cogdill says the bill will place wild trout over hatchery programs. Now, negotiations over Senate Bill 1148 have resulted in some changes, but the view of the impacts of the bill remain widely polarized. Cal Trout Conservation Director Curtis Knight reports that negotiations over the past 5 weeks have left both sides not getting all they wanted. He claims that the new bill improves on the original fisheries legislation, that's Assembly Bill 7, which then Senator Cogdill had attained. Now, Knight sent Sierra Wave Media Cal Trout's legislative update on Senate Bill 1148, which says hatcheries will not lose money and that Fish and Game can look to private hatcheries to meet production goals. Cal Trout claims that stocking and put-and-take fisheries like the Eastern Sierra will be improved under Senate Bill 1148 and that the bill maintains the target goal of 2.7 pounds of stocked fish per licensed angler. They do say that native trout will be protected with establishment of a special program and the hiring of 7 new heritage and wild trout positions within the Department of Fish and Game. Cogdill firmly contends that AB 7 should be given a proper chance before changing the system that he says, until the last 10 years or so, has created an exceptional sports fishing program for anglers and local economies. Caltrans says they hope that the bill will pass the legislature this week and go to the governor's desk by Friday. And State Senator Ted Gaines wrote a letter to the editor, and that starts, despite my efforts to stop it by referendum and legislation, the illegal fire tax is being assessed on more than 825,000 rural Californians starting this month, including 4,207 in Mono County. The letter goes on, this so-called fee was passed in 2011 to extract up to $150 per habitable structure from property owners. The tax will not provide any more fire protection and will actually make it harder for local fire agencies to raise the money they need to keep people safe. It's a lose-lose proposition for the people in my district and anyone concerned with public safety and the rule of law. Now, Gaines offers the websites calfirefree.com and firetaxprotest.org to go to and see more on that fire fee. And you can read the entire letter by Gaines and more on the Senate Bill 1148 story on our website, sierrawave.net. Well, it's kind of cool as the winning image for the Bristlecone Art competition has been selected, and it's a watercolor image by Bishop resident Marianne Thomas. Now, the large format watercolor will be on display in the new Bristlecone Pine Forest Visitor Center starting this Saturday. That's the day of the grand opening ceremony and celebration for the Visitor Center. Now, on the competition, over 60 images were submitted, so the competition was fierce, but the winning image was a unanimous choice by the 4-panel judge. The Bristlecones on a Hillside image will eventually find its way into prints and a poster, which will be available next season in the bookstore within the new Visitor Center. Now, all of the finalists' images will be on display in the new Visitor Center, and that will open its doors to the public this Saturday at 1 p.m. Now, if you're planning on going to the grand opening, you are urged to carpool with friends and neighbors as parking will be limited. Now, additional information on the grand opening can be found on the Inyo National Forest website, and that is fs.usda.gov/Inyo, or contact John Louth of the Forest Service at 760-873-2577. And congratulations to Marianne Thomas of Bishop. Well, the Eastern Sierra Tri-County Fair, well, it's here starting on Thursday and going through Sunday, and that is at the Tri-County Fairgrounds in Bishop. Boy, are we looking at a lot of fun for the Eastern Sierra Tri-County Fair. Forever red, white, and blue at the Tri-County Fair. That's the theme for the great Labor Day weekend celebration. Man, there is so much fun to be had at the fair. The Russell Brothers Family Fun Circus, we know a lot of people enjoy that. Hey, the Lions Club Fish Derby taking place Saturday and Sunday. Discovering Science, boy, we know the kids are enjoying that. And who doesn't like the pig races? All sorts of great events taking place at the Mike Booth Memorial Arena on Thursday. It'll be the WGAS Tractor Pull, and it's called the largest show ever to come to the Tri-County Fairgrounds. Hey, on Friday, it's going to be Battle of the Bands, and that's featuring all local talent. On Saturday at the Mike Booth Memorial Arena, local rodeo, and Hell on Who's Extreme Bulls and Bronx Tour. And on Sunday, hey, it's the Bishop Volunteer Fire Department Destruction Derby. We know folks from all over the area like to fill into the Mike Booth Memorial Arena and like watch cars smash into each other. Just so many great events taking place at the fair. Hey, one of our favorites, it's the Eye Care Pet Show. Boy, if you've never been out there, you might want to check it out. And that'll be taking place on Sundays at 2 p.m. The Eye Care Pet Show features a lot of great locals and their four-legged companions. Well, most of them had four legs anyways, and they range from real small to real big, and it's just, I think, one of the great events, the Eye Care Pet Show at the Eastern Sierra Tri-County Fair. And again, that's starting on Thursday and ending on Sunday this year. 4 days of the fair. As always, you can check out for more information, tricountyfair.com, or call 760-873-3588. Now, we know a lot of folks will enjoy going to the Tri-County Fair and other places around the Eastern Sierra for this Labor Day holiday weekend. A note that the California Highway Patrol and their officers will be out in force this holiday weekend, keeping a close eye on the roads and enforcing laws to keep motorists safe, and that's according to a CHP press release. The 3-day holiday is a maximum enforcement period for the CHP, and that will begin Friday at 6 p.m. and go through Monday at 11:59 p.m. Now, throughout the maximum enforcement period, all available officers will be on patrol, cracking down on impaired drivers, speeders, and those who are a danger to themselves and others on the state's roadways. Now, according to that press release, during last year's Labor Day weekend, 29 people were killed in traffic collisions across California, and that was a 38% increase from the previous year. Motorists choosing not to wear safety equipment contributed to the drastic increase in casualties, and it is very disheartening to know, said CHP Commissioner Joe Farrow, that 19 people lost their lives last Labor Day weekend as a result of not wearing their seatbelt. What a tremendous price to pay for something that is entirely preventable, Commissioner Farrow said. Now, the CHP averages around 1,500 arrests for impaired driving every Labor Day maximum enforcement period. Californians who drink alcohol are highly encouraged to designate a non-drinking driver in advance of the weekend, and the CHP reminds motorists that they can call 911 to report suspected drunk drivers. Now, Commissioner Farrow said impaired driving is more than a social issue. It is a criminal issue. As motorists travel throughout California, I want them to know the CHP will be out in force, working hard to remove impaired drivers and motorcycle riders from the roads. Our goal is for everyone to get safely to their destination, end quote. And state and local officials are also reminding water recreation enthusiasts to play safely, and tips for water recreation are available at dbw.ca.gov. And while we should all stay fire safe year-round, especially as we near the end of summer, and fire safety tips are available at fire.ca.gov. So we want everybody to go out and have a good time, but boat, drive, and fire safely. We'll be back with more news.